Hello, listeners. Welcome to another great podcast session. I'm Satavisa. Today we have with us Girish Srinivas, Senior Vice President of Anunta. Hello, Girish. Welcome to Analytics Insight. It's great to have you here.
Hi everyone, good evening.
Now, please tell me a little about Anunta and its business model.
Okay, Anunta Tech is a technology company which was mainly focused in building and managing virtual desktop infrastructure. So we basically wanted to transform the desktop delivery in a digital way, wherein the user experience is being quantified and we deliver user experience consistently. The main focus of Anunta delivery model is to protect the end user experience. Traditionally, desktop computing works in a way that there are various form factor. I mean the configuration of desktop, which will be procured and it will be given to the end user based on the user groups, and users need to face issues and then they need to report the issue to an IT group who attend to end user issues. So, but in this methodology, it is mostly reactive. People need to report the problem first, and then an IT personnel will take care of providing the support which is needed. But what is missing here is a methodology or a foolproof process which quantifies user experience and ensures that the user experience in their desktop environment is consistent across the form factor and throughout the life cycle. So Anunta, when we started delivering to our customer, this is the important rational behind our business model, where we adapted virtual desktop infrastructure and we also have a patented product called Uvantage, which does a 360-degree monitoring all the way from an endpoint till the critical infrastructure, which is configured either on-prem and now on the cloud, and ensures that 70 to 75% of IT incidents are detected proactively and ensure that the end user experience is being taken care of. So we commit to our customer that we detect 70 to 75% IT incidents proactively and quantify end user experience using our own patented product. So we moved from a reactive world to a proactive world. Today, the 500,000 users whom we support across the globe experience their desktop consistently. All the teething issues what they face are detected proactively before the issue which can impact an user. Our IT team will detect them and arrest them before it can impact the end user experience. So that is the unique proposition what Anunta takes to the customer. And we have been in the industry for almost 10 years now, and we are able to consistently deliver these metrics to our customers.
That's great to hear. You people are doing a great job. In recent times, cloud engineering and its adoption has got the fuel and remedy that organizations need to stay and thrive in the market. What, according to you, is the importance of cloud and its ability to make businesses more robust and long term?
Yeah, the cloud adoption has been an important strategic decision for any CIO and CEO in the current time, because the pandemic also has impacted a lot. The first and foremost thing is the way the cloud as a technology functions. So if you step back a bit and understand how traditionally IT infrastructure has been built and delivered. So most of the organizations or most of the businesses need to design and take a capital investment decisions to create their own application environment and delivery environment in their own data centers, or it can be a co-location. So there was a need for people to do a lot of capital investment and then protect that investment over a period of time. So there was no option for businesses to protect or increase or decrease the need of IT infrastructure based on their business model or based on the volume the business increases or decreases. So the cloud introduction of cloud basically transformed these decisions. So today customer can switch to pay-per-use model, and they can also create a dynamic environment, a reliable environment, which is always on, which is always available for them to host and deliver business applications. And today, even a small business or a large enterprise can easily move their IT infrastructure onto the cloud and create easy business continuity plans as well as disaster recovery plans. So now when we look back during early 2020, when pandemic started impacting worldwide, the customers who adopted cloud technology were able to provide access to their employees from home and enable work from home within a couple of hours. So there was no need of re-engineering the entire IT infrastructure. It was just few configuration changes which opened up access to their business application, their confidential data to their employees who can securely work from home. So today, any customer can easily host any business application on the cloud. The number of people whom they want to move to the cloud, they can instantly ramp up or ramp down based on their business needs. So this basically changed the whole IT infrastructure game in a way.
Thank you, Girish, for explaining it so well. Now let's talk about VDI and DaaS. These two things have gained great popularity as more firms are facing transition in their enterprises to remote or hybrid working. While the pandemic affected practically every industry, what role do you think COVID-19 played in bringing DaaS to the forefront? Since the COVID outbreak, how has the company been able to scale up?
Yeah, this is a very interesting question. Obviously, desktop as a service, as I was explaining in my previous question, helped customer to protect their capital investment. I mean, in traditional way to procure desktops was a capital decision or to switch to a lease decision. So wherein there is a lock-in period and you need to stay with the configuration of the desktop or a laptop or any form factor which you procured, and there is a lifetime for it. It can be 3 years or it can be 5 years or 7 years. So desktop as a service changed the way you can consider desktop needs for your users, IT consumers. As I said, it helped the customer to tailor the desktop configuration based on their business needs, and it is completely pay-per-use model. Just like utility payment, you can, this year when you start off, you can start with 100 users, and in next 10 days you can increase your footprint to 1,000 users. And when the volume decreases, the seasonal demand, you can immediately increase, and then once the season drops, you can decrease. So that was unavailable in your traditional desktop computing. So the other important the dot which helped customers to quickly look at virtual desktop or desktop as a service is securing their business data. So in the traditional computing, if you look at, all the critical data, the business critical data, travels over the wire and it stays with the physical device. If I'm using a laptop today, if I configure my Microsoft Outlook on this laptop, the business data downloads onto the desktop, and the spreadsheets which I create, PowerPoints which I create, or if I'm an engineer, if I create engineering blueprints on my laptop, it stays in the localized machine. If there is a catastrophic impact, it can be because of the device failure, it can be because of theft, it can be even any other environmental issues. If the laptop is crashed due to OEM failure, disk failure, or whatever, the important business data is at risk. The desktop as a service, or technically the virtualization, virtual desktop infrastructure, helped business to get over this roadblock. Today, virtual desktop infrastructure, whether it is on-prem or which is adopted on the cloud, it is a centralized infrastructure. As a technology, the foundation of virtualization offers you a continuous disaster recovery, data protection, and all the data resides within the organization perimeter. It never goes out. When a user connect, whether he is at home, whether he is on the move, whether he is in the airport, or whether he is in the office, the only information which exchanged between the virtual desktop to the end user is the screen refreshes. So that means the entire business data is completely protected, which helped a lot to the businesses. And coming to the specific COVID situation, so when organizations have already had the footprint of virtual desktop infrastructure, it was very easy for them to enable access over the internet. So today, internet is no more an issue across the country. Even a remote city or even a village, you have internet connectivity. When the pandemic impacted, a lot of people from metros started moving towards their hometown. But luckily, the connectivity was strong. The businesses who considered to adopt a desktop virtualization had a lot of control over the business. And the customers whom we were serving, we were able to notice not even one day there was a productivity loss, because users, instead of working from their office, they were able to transparently, seamlessly switch to work from home. And the productivity, there was absolutely no impact at all. They continue to connect to their business application as usual, and they were able to continue their daily routine. And the other tools which were available, like just to quote, it can be Microsoft Teams or Zoom, allowed people to continue to stay connected and perform their regular routines. That's how virtual desktop infrastructure and desktop as a service helped a lot of businesses across the globe to protect their productivity and protect their business intelligence.
That's really good to hear. And now please tell me how Anunta is contributing to building solutions and assisting customers in migrating to modern cloud-centric architecture. And how has Anunta been able to further the customer's digital transformation journey?
Very important and very interesting question. So today, how Anunta manages the design aspects of our customer is, we get plugged in to their business needs when they start evolving a technology. And Anunta Tech, as a technology company, we are OEM independent. So we just don't provide the solution with one single provider, and we are vendor agnostic. So what we do is we study the customer ID infrastructure, we will get into the details of each user group, identify their routine, identify their business application dependencies on the native operating systems which are running and the base desktop operating systems which are presently configured, and we will derive a suitable design which can help customer to migrate onto the virtual desktop infrastructure. So when we focus on setting up, it can be a proof of concept or pilot. We don't focus on setting up just the delivery software. The traditional way, any customer who want to adopt a new software for their business, any supplier would probably concentrate on implementation, deployment of that software in the customer infrastructure. And the usability of that is left completely on the customer. So, but Anunta owns end-to-end transformation. So what we do is we get ourselves plugged into their infrastructure. We identify various user groups. We work very closely with the users, the ID consumers, and then design a technology delivery solution. We deploy it, and then we will stand by. We will take care of each and every user migration from the current infrastructure to the new infrastructure. And we ensure their productivity is bettered from their existing infrastructure onto the new infrastructure. So we have a very good 360-degree feedback mechanism in the project management phase itself, which will protect end user experience as well. On top of the technology, what we have invented, which we bundle along with our solutions. What we do is every user who's been migrated will have a connect with the project team. We have a feedback process on the day we migrate. After 7 days, we are going to contact the migrated user, identify if they have any teething issues. And after 10 days, we are going to talk to that customer, identify if there are any issues. And on the 15th day, we are again going to contact the user, find out if they have any teething issues. In any of this stage, if user reports any problem, so we will stay with the customer till the time he turns green. And then the user will be handed over to the steady state team or business as usual team who will take care of the end user support. So this method helped a lot of our customers, and they could completely count on us when they are adapting a new technology. The panic within the IT consumers clearly vanished when we were able to ensure the end user experience. I hope that answers your question.
I see. Yeah, it does. That's amazing. And now I would like you to share some of the key challenges that you must have faced while developing dynamic solutions to meet numerous security and compliance problems during the pandemic.
Yeah, the security concerns obviously is very, very high in the remote working methodology, because when the employees are in the offices, when they are working within the office premise, the perimeter configurations and the physical network infrastructure, which is configured within the organization, is completely monitored and protected. But when people connect to this infrastructure remotely, especially over the internet, the risk multiplies. And it is very, very important to decouple the entire desktop environment and the business data in a way where the complete protection is being given to the business data. So what we have done is we have identified layered approach to design uh, the desktop delivery, and we implemented the security in a way the business applications, the databases, the domain authentication methodologies are completely in a new way, uh, which will which will suit the digital transformation. That means the linear method of authentication was not sufficient, so we introduced different layers of authentication process, the different methodology in application and database and user data which will be stored within the organization perimeters. So that helped a lot of organization to ensure the vulnerability, known and unknown vulnerabilities are completely assessed and sufficient protection is being taken care of.
That's really great to hear. And lastly, let's talk about the global video market. A recent report has said that this market is likely to be worth around $13 billion by 2027. And it means that there lies a huge opportunity in this market for adoption of these solutions that you people are providing. What are your future plans for Anunta, and what is this year's vision for you?
Right. Yeah. So I completely agree. There is definitely a lot of demand for the cloud, especially cloud virtual desktop infrastructure. And as we anticipate the business growth, we are able to see an increased demand in the last couple of years. And if you see overall, Anunta is been in this business for last 10 years. And year on year, we are able to record more than 40% of growth. So our intention is to stay focused in this line of business. We would want to stay, as I said, stay focused and provide a dependable, always on ID infrastructure, desktop infrastructure to our customer. So we will ensure to discover, you know, all suitable use cases in our customer business environment, and we will support them in the digital transformation. So as I was describing in one of the previous questions, so the methodology here Anunta adopted is to help the customer to transform the ID infrastructure from their existing environment to the new cloud infrastructure. So here it is important for us to stay with the ID consumer, recognize each and every routine which they have. It can be all the way from their printer peripherals and application behaviors. And when you migrate, it is a change in the user environment. And when there is a change in the any user environment, it will directly impact the user behavior as well. So unless they feel comfortable, because in the physical environment, physical world, people are seeing a physical desktop or a laptop in front of them. When you move them, when you transform them into a cloud desktop, the form factor or the endpoint will become a thin client or a standardized endpoint. And even the user behavior changes because till the time it is physical, he feels that all his data is stayed in his control. And now with the new technology, the control is shifting. It is moved somewhere else, and nobody knows where his desktop is sitting. While every IT consumer appreciates that it is a new technology and it is a new innovation, but as long as their data is concerned, they feel more comfortable when the data is data and the desktop environment is in their disposal. So we need to deal with this transformation. One, physical transformation, and second, user behavior will change. So for that, it is important for any company, any ID infrastructure company who is supporting this transformation need to understand the details of the complete ID infrastructure and design a successful infrastructure which addresses every user environment needs. So we have to go user case by case, user group, and then address every user and migrate them and stay with the ID consumer. Then only the cloud transformation projects will be successful. If we treat this as a traditional IT project and just focus on bringing up or standing up the infrastructure from the data centers point of view, these projects will fail. So I hope Anunta today was able to prove that consistently across the customers whom we are serving. And we ensured the successful transformation because we were able to get into the details of every use case which we discover and tailor them in the new technology which we designed and implemented. And we transformed them and we stayed with the customer. And our patented product also ensured the end user experience consistently, and we delivered those metrics month on month.
That's really amazing. Thank you, Girish, for joining us today. I wish you the very best for your future.